Top of that developing news out of Vermont, that triple homicide, an arrest has been made. The suspect, Brian Crossman Jr. from Granville, is now accused of shooting and killing his own father, his stepmother, and his 13-year-old stepbrother. The deadly shooting took place at a home in Paulette, Vermont. It's just over the border from Washington County. Now, that is the home where Crossman Sr. shared with his wife and stepson. The 23-year-old Crossman Jr. was picked up today in Warren County by New York State Police as a fugitive from justice. We first brought you the identities of those killed back on Wednesday. The victims are Brian Crossman Sr., who was the suspect's father, his stepmother, Erick Crossman, and his 13-year-old stepbrother, Colin Taft. Police tell us all three died from gunshot wounds. Right now, Brian Crossman Jr. is being held at the Warren County Jail. Zach Richter brings us the latest.
Now, Bethlehem School District says they received a third threat.
Now a third. This is a third in just 24 hours, too, making things pretty serious. Now, we reported just at the top of the show that 2 other threats were received as well. Police now tell us that more officers are going to be at the school again tomorrow, and counselors are going to be in every school building as well on top of that. Come back. Okay, we're going to go back out to that breaking news we told you about at the very start of our newscast. A fire investigation currently underway over in Saratoga County.
This is a live look at the scene right now. We're working to learn more information, but what we do know is there is a fire at Farm to Market Road in Mechanicville.
See a lot of fire crews out at the scene. A couple of different trucks there, firefighters walking around. What we can't see is any bright glow off in the distance. Hopefully that means they maybe got this fire out, but gonna have to keep an eye on it a little bit longer. We'll work to bring you more as we get it.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on this Thursday night. I'm Rachel Teedy.
And I'm Steve Cooge. That breaking news coming to us out of Schenectady. That is where we are now being told a person has sadly died after being hit while they were riding on a motorcycle.
Right now, information is still limited, but we know the crash happened in the area of Brandywine Avenue and Stanford Street shortly after 6:30 tonight.
Police say that's when they got to the call about a scene they traveled to here. A motorcyclist was there in critical condition. They had to be transported to a local area hospital. That is where that motorcyclist was pronounced dead. Right now, the name has not been released and the cause of the crash is still under investigation. The team has obtained the application for Crossman's arrest. We read over the entire warrant document, and here's what we uncovered. Before we get into the nitty-gritty details, we do want to warn you that some of this might be a little uncomfortable to hear. So, digging into it now. The report mentions that the suspect here, Crossman Jr., reportedly attempted to drag his father outside the home. Officers say they found the first victim, Crossman Sr., laying on his back directly in front of the mudroom entrance door. Now, investigators tell us stepmother, Erick Crossman, she was found dead in the master bedroom, and the stepbrother, 13-year-old Colin Taft, he was found in an upstairs bedroom on the floor. Police tell us they found several shotgun shells to different weapons scattered throughout the house, and investigators say guns were found in the couch as well as on the kitchen table. Police say the home had a room filled with different types of weapons and firearms. The room, which police are calling the gun room, contained 1 firearm safe and 2 firearm cabinets, as well as other numerous firearms. Police say the suspect's cell phone, Crossman Jr.'s phone, contained several internet searches related to serial killers as well as unresolved murders.
The Albany International Airport CEO has been fired effective immediately. Phil Calderone was supposed to be let go in December. There's a lot to follow, so here's a breakdown of everything that's been happening at the airport so far. In August, we told you that Phil Calderone's contract will not be renewed this coming December. At the time, it was reported that Albany County Executive Dan McCoy could be the leading candidate to replace Calderone as CEO. Around August 15th, the Albany County Airport Authority Board announced it hired a national executive search firm. That firm meant to help the airport find the next CEO. On August 21st, Albany County Executive Dan McCoy said he is not looking to be the next CEO of the Albany International Airport. And then on the 27th, McCoy gave his first on-camera comments about the situation. He says he's committed to his term as Albany County Executive. Now, Calderone's firing comes as the airport is in the middle of a $100 million renovation project. So why was he fired? The Airport Authority Board released the reasons why tonight. They say one reason was, quote, Over the course of that time, the board as a whole and each board member individually experienced Mr. Calderon's unwillingness to authentically collaborate and fully cooperate with the board in what we viewed as our performance of our duties and responsibilities. Another reason here was, quote, when normal disagreements happen with the board, Mr. Calderon would be non-negotiable and easily become incensed in private as well as in public with an approach inappropriate for a CEO. The board has announced former airport CEO John O'Donnell will oversee all construction projects as chief operating officer. Former Airport Authority General Counsel Peter Studdo will serve as acting CEO while the board conducts what it calls a national search for a new one.
Now to the start of the new school year, the Catskill Board of Education, they held a special meeting tonight. Parents tell us they are frustrated about what they say is a lack of information from the district on some major personnel issues. Let's walk you through it here. The Catskill Central School District has seen a number of serious controversies over the past few months. Back in March of this year, both the principal, Junaid Shaw, and their music teacher, Michelle Storrs-Ryan, they were suspended. They were being investigated, as it turns out, over a report of a student who had their mouth taped shut during a rehearsal for the school's musical of Cinderella. Now, the suspicion caused a massive uproar among parents and students. That same month, a petition was delivered to Catskill Schools Board calling for the immediate return of the principal Shaw as well as the music teacher Michelle Storrs. They were also calling on the resignation of Superintendent Dan Wilson. Then, on around March 18th, Storrs, the music teacher, was returned to the classroom, and on August 12th, high school principal Junaid Shaw ended up being placed on leave, pending further investigation into whether that he had the proper qualifications. Then, just 4 days later, on August 16th, Junaid Shaw accepted a new position as the head of innovation and technology for the Coxsackie-Athens Central School District. On August 21st, the public was invited to a special board meeting. That's today. But it turned out only a small group of folks were allowed inside as they held an executive session. The board did. News Channel 13's Zach Richter has more on this special meeting.
Most importantly, to look at the photos of Josie before returning you to live in society, because it is clear to this court that you will never be fit to live in the community ever again.
Just some of the words against Robert Fisher, the man who admitted to raping and killing a 3-year-old girl. He'll now spend the next 20 years to life behind bars for this. Fisher admitted to raping and murdering 3-year-old Josephina Cunningham in Rensselaer County. Here's a timeline for you of this horrible crime and how it all took place. Josephina was allegedly killed in her home on Broadway in Rensselaer last July. That's while she was in the care of Fisher, who was supposed to be watching out for her. On August 2023, Robert Fisher pled not guilty to those rape and murder charges. Then, 1 year later, just this July, Fisher decided to change his plea to guilty. That comes just 3 weeks before his trial was set to begin. Today, Fisher was sentenced to prison, 20 years to life in that case. Prosecutors tell us the community should know exactly what Robert Fisher did last year when he killed 3-year-old Josephina Cunningham, which we do want to warn you here. Some of the details are pretty upsetting if the story wasn't upsetting enough.
Multiple threats under investigation at the Bethlehem Central School District.
This is an all-hands-on-deck situation.
As a district, the safety and well-being of our students is our top priority. Any threats to that safety are completely unacceptable.
We are not going to stop until we bring this coward to justice. This is my community, and these are my kids and my family.
In response to these incidents, the district has implemented heightened police presence and precautionary lockout measures at all schools.
Our students have handled this very well, but they are certainly rattled.
We are committed, as always, to cultivating a school community with compassion and unity.
And they're confident in the Bethlehem police to do their job and find these people.
The limited information investigators are releasing about the caller making these threats.
From WNYT Albany, News Channel 13 live at 11 begins right now.
We have the right folks working this, and I'm confident that we will come to a quick and swift resolution.
The FBI now helping Bethlehem Central Schools figure out who was making several calls of violence toward that school district. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Rachel Teedy. Steve is on assignment tonight. In Bethlehem today, the Central School District holding a press conference on those 6 threats being called in threatening violence at the schools in the district this week. News Channel 13's Zach Richter reports from Bethlehem High School, where the press conference was held today. Zach, good evening.
Good evening, Rachel. Those threats beginning on Tuesday of this week and threatening gun violence to the high school, the middle school, and the football team. And all of those 6 phone calls coming from the same phone number with that same male voice. And those phone calls were received at the police department and right here at the high school.
These calls that we have received are frightening.
There have now been 6 phone calls received this week threatening gun violence across the Bethlehem Central School District.
The safety and well-being of our students is our top priority, and any threats to that safety are completely unacceptable.
And I want you to know that we are uncovering different information on an hourly basis.
And the FBI a part of the investigation.
But I want to caution our community. These cases take time. We are working in a legal and lawful way to ascertain identities and locations, but I'm confident in our workforce.
Bethlehem's chief of police saying that the investigation will take some time because of artificial intelligence, but they are working as quickly as possible.
It's not something that we're going to just solve, like I'm sure you would think with, oh, you have a phone number, why aren't you arresting a suspect? This type of crime is something in this day and age with technology is something that is not easy to undertake.
Police saying the number is spoofed and that Google hasn't been cooperating with the investigation.
We've had some roadblocks with certain agencies. We've written search warrants to companies that have information and they've withheld the information.
And Bethlehem's high school principal speaking today too, thanking the students for their bravery this past week.
This week has been truly unforgettable. Despite facing unimaginable challenges, our students have shown remarkable strength, empathy, kindness, understanding, and support for one another.
The district announcing on their website that all of the buildings and grounds will remain closed through the weekend. Now, there was also supposed to be a football game here at the high school tonight, but that was canceled as a safety precaution. Now, the superintendent said at the meeting today that school will resume on Monday with heightened security. In Bethlehem, with coverage you can trust, Zach Richter, News Channel 13.
Zach, thank you so much. According to the Bethlehem police chief, the first threat came in Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. It was a voicemail left on the high school phone system. 8 minutes later, Bethlehem Police Dispatch receives the same threat to shoot everybody at the school. On Wednesday, just before 4 p.m., the police department got a second phone call, which led to the cancellation of after-school activities. At 9:16 p.m., that was on Wednesday, the dispatch center received another call, this time targeting Bethlehem Middle School and Bethlehem High School. On Thursday at 2 p.m., the 4th call was received at the dispatch center. And last night at about 8 p.m., the dispatch center got their 5th call. This time, the target was the football team during the Friday after-school practice. Now, there are about 4,000 students in kindergarten through grade 12 at the district. The district has 5 elementary schools. The middle school serves kids grades 6 through 8, and the high school has students in grades 9 through 12. We spoke with students today, finding out what they think about these threats.
It's been interesting. Not a lot of people are coming to school because of the threats or people scared, but it's just been interesting walking around with not a lot of people in the hallways.
It's been a big topic. I guess my parents are very comfortable sending me to school because I guess they don't really live in fear, I would say. So they're comfortable and they're confident in the Bethlehem police to do their job and find these people.
The entire school community tonight is yearning for a return to normalcy. So, of course, we will keep you updated on that. Let's take a look at your first warning forecast. They just turned the lights off here on the skyline. 65 degrees out there right now with just a light wind out of the southeast. And temperatures in the 60s and the 50s tonight. 64 degrees in Duanesburg, 63 degrees in Voorheesville, 62 in Schaghticoke. Hour-by-hour forecast as we head into the rest of tonight and starting off tomorrow, dropping down to the upper 50s by 6 a.m., lower for people in the higher elevations. getting up to the 70s by 10 a.m. and the 80s by 2 p.m. So if you're out at your favorite tavern or bar celebrating your Friday night, temperatures are going to be in the lower 70s and the upper 60s depending on your location. Nice and dry. We're going to break down your weekend forecast coming up in just a little bit. First, though, new at 11, 2 of the 3 men accused of breaking into and stealing from Lola Saratoga appeared in court on Thursday. Both Christopher Tyler and Mustafa Lewis Hampton are from Washington, D.C. They're accused of using a crowbar to smash the store's window. They allegedly took off with about $25,000 worth of merchandise. Police say the duo allegedly tried to get rid of evidence by tossing the bags out the window. The next court date is November 14th. We knew about their court appearance yesterday, and we did reach out to Saratoga City Court for updates twice. Didn't hear back until today when we reached out again. In a statement, the court told News Channel 13 that due to staffing shortages, we have 10 days to respond to such inquiries. You're more than welcome to come in and review the file Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 3:45. So we'll keep you updated as we deal with that. We're following developing news out of Rensselaer County as well tonight. A spokesperson with the city of Rensselaer's mayor says no action was taken during tonight's Common Council emergency meeting. The purpose of that meeting was originally to override any veto by Mayor Mike Stammel that was regarding Jason Schofield's pay cut. We're told the mayor had not vetoed the legislation after all. Schofield is the former GOP elections commissioner. He pleaded guilty to federal charges on the ongoing Rensselaer County ballot fraud trial. He testified earlier this week, but is still waiting to be sentenced. Schofield is now serving as a clerk at Rensselaer City Hall, and there's been movement in that story, so more details on our website. A quick decision by a jury in a local murder trial. A Saratoga County man has been found guilty for the murder of a local rapper. Plus, the newest winemaker at one of the area's most popular wineries, how she's making waves in the industry. A jury has found Jeff Henderson guilty of murdering a local musician. The 21-year-old man shot and killed Benjamin Rowe in June of 2023 on Hamilton Street. Rowe was a popular local rapper. Henderson could now spend up to 25 years to life in prison. His sentencing scheduled for November 8th. We are working to learn more about a police investigation in Schenectady. Schenectady Police, State Police, and ATF were present on Odell Street near Kelton Avenue. It's unclear what authorities are investigating at this time, but it does have neighbors asking questions. Authorities say they cannot reveal the details about anything right now, so count on News Channel 13 to bring you updates. A local winery has a new winemaker. We'll show you what makes her stand out next. And a live look outside right now from Albany. We are tracking your weekend forecast for all your outdoor events. That's coming up. One of our state's top wineries is looking to change that image by adding an impressive new winemaker to the team. Courtney Rankin is Adirondack Winery's first female winemaker. Courtney is responsible for 35 to 40 different wines and some hard ciders. She says finding the perfect balance between the flavors and ingredients of her wines is a fun challenge that keeps the job exciting.
It's really, really cool to be coming into a place that hasn't had a woman winemaker before and, just kind of see what I can do to make things better and change things.
If you enjoy wine pairing and tastings, Adirondack Winery is throwing a winemaker's dinner series at the end of the month and next month, where you can try some of Courtney's best. Tomorrow, MVP Arena hosting a spectacular event in honor of our veterans. It's the first ever Red, White, and Brew Festival. Free block party that supports current and retired servicemen and women. There will be live music from local and national country artists like Skeeter Creek, Daryl Worley, and Craig Morgan. You'll also get to enjoy food, vendors, and craft beer. News Channel 13 is a proud sponsor of this festival, and I'm excited to serve as your MC. Kicks off at 2 o'clock in front of MVP Arena.
Now, your first warning forecast with meteorologist Rachel Teedy.
A live look outside right now at Albany from the CDPHP first warning camera. Lights are off, 65 degrees. Let's try one more. Saratoga Springs, 68. So nice and quiet. People are enjoying the start of their weekend. Got up to 83 degrees today, which is warm for this time of year. 76 is the normal high for this time of year. 92 is the record set back in 1948. And this is where we are compared to normal, 8 degrees. And that's kind of the story from north to south here. As we get a little bit further out to the west in western New York, Syracuse, Binghamton a little bit higher in the double digits in Syracuse. But temperatures right now in the 60s, 69 at the Albany International Airport, 64 in Duanesburg, 61 in Kinderhook, 59 in Pittsfield, so 50s for some spots. Satellite and radar, a lot of nothing to show. It has been nice and dry. We have had high pressure systems over us, which means that we have that bright blue H, which means bright blue skies, and it's keeping everything out, kind of boxing out all of the rain that could be coming from Francine. We're not going to see it because of that high pressure system. So if you love 80s and you love sunshine, this is the week for you. Hour by hour forecast for tomorrow, starting off in the 50s, nice and clear, getting up to the 70s by 11 o'clock, 80s by 3 p.m., back down to the 70s by dinner time. And the high temperature trend going to continue in the 80s for the next week. Again, above average 76 is that high temperature. Breaking this down hour by hour, things are nice and quiet here tonight. Nothing to talk about as we start our Saturday. Lunchtime looks fantastic. Dinner time looks great. So if you're heading to Red, White, and Brew tomorrow, not a single problem. Will we even see a cloud in the sky? Maybe. Remains to be seen. Heading into Sunday, things start off nice and dry once again, no problems. Maybe a very quick shower, but most of us staying dry. That rain possibly not even hitting the ground. Your foliage report here. Things are starting to change just a little bit. Some yellow in central New York, the Adirondacks, the Capital Region. We're starting to see that color change. And if you've been up in the Adirondacks, you've been seeing some of those trees change for a couple weeks now, but now they're on the map. The data is recorded, and we're going to continue to show these maps as we head throughout the fall season. So for tonight, 60 degrees is your low, mostly clear and mild with patchy fog late tonight. For tomorrow, 83 degrees, sunny and warm, a little bit on the humid side. 7-day planner looks like this. Lots of sunshine from Saturday to Wednesday in the 80s. Looks beautiful. Thursday and Friday is the next round of rain right now. 80 degrees on Thursday, 78 degrees on Friday. The rain, though, the timing, still a little bit of question mark. It was on Wednesday, if you were paying attention a couple days ago. The rain really taking its time to get here. Now Thursday and Friday, so as we get a little bit closer to those days, we'll keep you updated on what we are going to be able to see. Coming up, more news and Football Friday in just a second. We're learning more about the child attacked by Rottweilers tonight. A 2-year-old boy was attacked in Hoosick Falls. Happened at a home on 4th Street on Wednesday. In a 6-minute phone conversation with Tessa Bentulin today, the child's mother says her child is heavily medicated after he was bitten all over his body. There are some rumors floating on social media that the child was alone when the attack happened, and both the mother and police say that's actually not true. Police first reported 4 Rottweilers attacked the child, but the mother says instead 2 of those 4 dogs were in the room and attacked her son. The owners of the dogs chose to have those dogs euthanized. Schenectady police have identified the motorcyclist killed in the crash last night. We first brought you this story as breaking news yesterday. Police say 28-year-old Jason Simon died in the crash, which happened about 6:30 p.m. in the area of Brandywine Avenue and Stanford Street. Police say the driver is cooperating with that investigation. Big Board Sports next on News Channel 13. Roger is here with a Big Board Sports Football Friday. Raj.
Yeah, Rachel, we've been circling the Capital Region tonight, and we'll set you up with scores and highlights from Week 1 of the high school football season. I'll explain why it's only Week 1, including our headline game at Niskayuna. Big Board Sports Football Friday is coming up next.
Breaking news at this hour, Hurricane Milton has officially made landfall as a Category 3 storm.
News Channel 13 has team coverage. We're all over this one for you tonight, folks, as the powerful storm continues carving its way across Florida. This right here, this is a live picture for you of that powerful Hurricane Milton. It's now bringing heavy rainfall to a very wide area throughout Florida.
Not only rainfall, that Florida is seeing several tornadoes spawned in the state today. Officials in St. Lucie County say at least 20 homes were damaged from this.
This is a live picture right now. This is downtown Tampa you're looking at. This is right where the eye of Hurricane Milton made landfall, a little south of this particular area you're looking at right now here on your screens.
We're joined now by meteorologist Winique Martinez, and she's been tracking this. Milton now making its way across the state as a hurricane. Winique.
Yeah, Stephen, Rachel, it's a very serious situation across the state of Florida. Just a few seconds ago, I had this camera pulled up because live out in Clearwater Beach on our CDP-HP first warning cam, there was an ongoing structural fire. That camera has since gone down since we've been on air. So again, it's a very serious situation with this hurricane making landfall as a major Category 3 hurricane. Now here's the structure right now of this hurricane still barreling its way across the state of Florida. Right now it's currently a Category 2 hurricane, but still very strong, with those wind fields very strong and extending well above that eye of that hurricane. So here's a look at Milton right now with sustained winds at 105 miles per hour, moving east-northeast at 16 miles per hour, and it will continue to maintain that hurricane status as it crosses the state of Florida, and it will continue to move out to sea later into the week as a post-tropical low. Now again, this is a very serious situation, so we'll continue to track this throughout the evening, but as we look locally, our forecast is relatively quiet. That high today in Albany only reached 61 degrees, so a much cooler day in store across the capital region. And if we could take this full, you can see that that normal high temperature for this time of year is usually 64 degrees. So right on par with where we should be, but those temperatures will continue to get cooler. Right now we're in the 40s, 45 in Schuylerville and Schaghticoke, 45 in Boston Spa, 40 in Duanesburg, 46 in Voorheesville. Live outside in Albany on the CDP-HP first warning cam, currently 48 degrees and quiet, but we do have a few spotty showers that we're tracking across the region. Now we'll continue to track showers as we go throughout the evening, but tomorrow will be a cooler and drier day. More on the day ahead and Milton in just a bit. Stephen, Rachel, Winnie, thank you.
Well, we've never seen anticipated winds that we might get being in the path.
Right now, the rain continuing to come down in Florida. People living there closely watching the storm surge and the winds.
Now, those who remain in Florida tonight, they are taking shelter.
Just hours ago, News Channel 13's Tessa Bentulin spoke to a Schenectady native, now lives near Tampa, as he rides out the storm.
You're already starting to see the change in weather.
Yes. Yeah, no, the wind is definitely getting louder. We're in an area that has a lot of trees behind it in our backyard, more than most places, so we can hear it whistling through, and the rain is definitely intensified.
Andrew Clifford took this video shortly after our interview around 6 p.m. Wednesday night. It's still light out in the video, but when night falls, it's expected to get a lot worse. Clifford was born and raised in Schenectady and now lives in Wesley Chapel, about 30 minutes northeast of Tampa.
And why did you guys decide to stay?
So we live fairly far inland. We felt like we would be a little more insulated from the storm surge, and we knew that the storm would weaken a little bit by the time it got to us, but we're also healthcare workers, so we wanted to be available if it came to that, but we also just generally felt safe being where we are.
This is Clifford's third major hurricane since moving to Florida in 2021. Clifford and his wife evacuated for Ian, but stayed put for Helene and now Milton too.
Did you go to the grocery store and buy what you think you need for the next couple of days?
Yeah, we were able to get in. We have Sam's Club memberships, but even there it was pretty hectic. There was a line that nearly wrapped around the store. We didn't even really get that much, but we got some extra water, some toiletries.
Clifford says he got lucky during Hurricane Helene. His home was nearly untouched, other than some debris in his yard. But the same can't be said for thousands of others who lost everything. Clifford says he's praying he'll make it out unscathed for Milton.
If there's anything I'm most afraid of, it's the wind and the flooding. So we've done as much as I think we can do to protect from that.
Now, we plan to get updates from Clifford as the storm passes through Florida, and we'll share those updates with you as soon as we can. But as Milton makes its way across the state, many families who left the state are once again uncertain of the future.
Milton comes into Florida on the heels of Hurricane Helene, which just 2 weeks ago made landfall over there. One of those affected areas and the people are the Rogers family. While they call Florida home right now, they're originally from Averill Park.
They're once again here in the capital region after losing their home due to Helene. The Rogers say that they decided to ride out Helene because their home was well built and they had roll down shutters, but they were no match for the surge of ocean water.
The surge came up very slowly. We could see it in our ductwork, in our air conditioning ductwork. We could watch it come up and come up and come up. And what it did, it was salt water, and it reached probably 3 foot over normal or above the ground, which allowed it to almost come in our house.
While they are staying positive during this time, right now it's unsure what the future holds. They say they hope to return to Florida.
This storm could go through and totally destroy everything, especially in our area, because once that water weakened our substructures, and if they get high winds and stuff like that, who's know what can happen. If stuff is standing, they're still standing and not totally destroyed, we hope to go down and salvage whatever we can.
A GoFundMe page has been set up to offset current and future living expenses for them. If you would like to contribute, we have a link on our website, WNYT.com.
Now, Hurricane Milton made landfall just around 2 hours or so ago, and already in that amount of time, listen to this, 1.7 million customers in Florida are without any power whatsoever. And that there is according to the poweroutage.us map.
Hardee County has the most power outages, with more than 9,000 customers left in the dark. To give you an idea of the storm's power, an NBC affiliate says crews were seeing transformer after transformer blowing up.
Florida already getting help, though, from the entire nation, including from us here in the state of New York. 65 of our own New York National Guard soldiers and airmen are already on the ground in Florida to assist in any way possible.
Members of the New York Air National Guard are trained in scuba diving and survival skills. Other states sending members, including Minnesota, Kentucky, and Texas.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says there are about 9,000 National Guard personnel helping in each and every way possible.
Now, President Biden is reassuring Floridians and others in the path of the hurricane that his administration has their backs.
He's now urging Americans to not listen to any misinformation that might be being spread around online.
In moments like this, there are no red or blue states. There's one United States of America, where neighbors are helping neighbors. Volunteers and first responders are risking everything, including their own lives, to help their fellow Americans. State, local, and federal officials are standing side by side.
So some good words right there from President Biden tonight. Coming up, we're taking a live look for you right now in Florida. This is a camera giving us footage from St. Petersburg as Hurricane Milton continues to weave destruction across the state of Florida as a major hurricane. Our team coverage will continue.